Vilken handduk är det bra sånt där? Jag skiter i... Vill du ha tvätt eller vilken?
Lanes are out for 5 minutes of warm-up.
Hey, welcome to the 2018 World Bowling Youth Championships. This is the men's doubles semifinals. On the left-hand pair will be the Korean team, Ji-Jun and Han Jae-yeon, versus the Sweden team, Robert Lindberg and Alfred Berggren. On the right-hand pair, 75 and 76 here at Thunderbolt Lanes in suburban Detroit, the Australian team, Jaden Panella and Blaine Fletcher, against the other Sweden team, Emmanuel Johnson and William Svensson. So how did they get here? The Korean team was the top qualifying team. Ji-Jun shot 13-10 for 6 games with a high game of 264. And Han Jae-yeon shot an excellent 15.05 6-game set. They shot 28-15. Han Jae-yeon, his set included a 300 game in Game 5. The Sweden team, Robert Lindberg and Alfred Berggren, shot 26-73. Lindberg had a 13-61 6-game set with a high game of 265, and Berggren had 13-12 for 6 games with a high game of 258. The Australian team, Jaden Panella, shot 13-27 with a high game of 245. Blaine Fletcher started out with 289, went all the way through, shot 14-07 for a 27-34 for the Australian team. The other Sweden team, Emmanuel Johnson, shot 13-79 with a high game of 257, and William Svensson shot 12-99 with a high game of 247. Their score 26-78. So they're finishing up their 5 minutes of practice right now, so enjoy the practice before the matches start. Okay, practice is now ending. World Bowling CEO Kevin Dornberger. World CEO Kevin Dornberger will be making the announcements, so enjoy those announcements.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the semifinal matches for the men's doubles. Starting on lane 71 will be Sweden 2. Here's a 1. Sorry. 1 and 2 Sweden leaders. Number 2, I think. Robert Lindberg and Alfred Bergman. Starting on lane 72, the number 1 seed from Korea, Ji Hyun and Han Jae-yoon. And 25-6, starting on lane 75, Sweden 1. Emmanuel Janssen and William Swenson. 7-6 from Australia, Jaden Panella and Blaine Fletcher.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. On the left-hand pair, Robert Lindberg for Sweden. Starts with a strike. And on the right-hand pair, Emmanuel Janssen for Sweden. Leaves a 10-pin. Ji Hyun for Korea. Leading off for the Korean team on lane 72 and left-hand pair. Pulls it and leaves a 4-pin. And Jaden Panella for Australia on the right-hand pair. Comes high, leaves a 4-7. Alfred Berggren on the left-hand pair. Comes a little light, leaves a 2-4. Emmanuel Janssen easily covers the 10-pin on the right-hand pair. Ji Hyun easily covers that 4-pin. Jaden Panella with his spare on the right-hand pair. Now Berggren going for the 2-4 on the left-hand pair and easily covers that. Right-hand pair, William Swenson. Leaves a solid 7-pin. Han Jae-young for Korea on the left-hand pair. Shot 300 in qualifying. Let's see how he starts here. A little light and leaves a 2-8-10. Blaine Fletcher for Australia on the right-hand pair. Carries a strike. Swenson now with the 7-pin on the right-hand pair. Covers that. Han Jae-young just covers 2 pins. Emmanuel Johnson, Sweden on the right-hand pair, and Robert Lindberg of Sweden on the left-hand pair. Comes high, leaves the 4-6-7 split. Johnson does. Lindberg doubles. Jaden Pinella working on a spare for Australia on the right-hand pair. Goes high and leaves the 4-7-10 split. Ji Gun for Korea on the left-hand pair. The only left-hander in the finals here. Covers that. And Johnson gets 2. Alfred Berggren for Sweden on the left-hand pair. Carries a strike. And Pinella gets 2 for Australia on the right-hand pair. Han Jae-yeon for Korea on the left-hand pair now. Leaves a 10-pin. William Svensson on the right-hand pair now, working on a spare. Leaves a 7-pin again. Han Jae-yeon shooting for the 10-pin now on the left-hand pair. Covers it. Blaine Fletcher now on the right-hand pair for Australia. Leaves a solid 9-pin. On the right-hand pair, William Svensson lining up for the 7-pin. And on the left-hand pair, Robert Lindberg shooting at a full rack. Oh, error by Svensson. Missing the 7-pin. Robert Lindberg, a little wide, leaves the 2-4-10. He's working on a double. And Fletcher covers the 9. Ji Gun for Korea on the left-hand pair, working on a strike. He's a double. Robert Lindberg lining up for that 2-4-10 split. And covers it easily. Emmanuel Johnson on the right-hand pair for Sweden. Comes light 2-4-8. Jaden Pinella up for Australia on the right-hand pair. Comes high, leaves the 3-6. Han Jae-yeon for Korea up on the left-hand pair. Working on a spare. Leaves a 10-pin. That's back-to-back 10-pins for him. Berggren for Sweden on the left-hand pair. There's a double for him. And meanwhile, Johnson for Sweden on the right-hand pair misses the 2-4-8. Han Jae-yeon shooting for the 10-pin for Korea. Covers it easily. There's a miss by Pinella, chopping the 6 off the 3-6. William Swenson on the right-hand pair. Carries a strike. First strike of the match for him. And Robert Lindberg. Back in line. 67 through 3 with a strike up in the 4th for Lindberg. Fletcher on the right-hand pair. Strike, spare, strike for Fletcher. Gigun. Oh. Working on a double, leaves the 8-pin, solid 8-pin. Johnson for Sweden on the right-hand pair. Comes back after those two opens with a big strike. Alfred Berggren on the left-hand pair. Working on a double. And it pulls up a little bit. Leaves a 6-pin. Jaden Pinella on the right-hand pair. Comes really high, leaves the 4-6-10 split. Gigun easily makes the 7-pin for Korea on the left-hand pair. Berggren lining up for the 6-pin on the left-hand pair. Covers it. And Swenson working on a strike on a right-hand pair. Make that a double. Han Jae-yeon for Korea on the left-hand pair. Working on a spare. First strike of the match for him. Pinella covers 2 for Australia on the right-hand pair. A tough start for Pinella. He's got 44 through 4 frames. The left-hand pair, Lindberg, steps up. Working on a strike for Sweden. Comes a little wide, leaves the 2-10. Blaine Fletcher for Australia on the right-hand pair. That's a double for him. The match on the right-hand pair is pretty even. Match on the left-hand pair, Sweden's got about a 20-pin lead. Big strike by Gigun. 89 through 4 with a strike up in the 5th. Lindberg gets 1 on the split. Gives him 95 through 5 frames. On the right-hand pair, Johnson for Sweden working on a strike. Oh, comes light, gets a very fortunate break, only leaving the 10-pin. Han Jae-yeon for Korea on the left-hand pair lines up, working on a strike. Make that a double for him, too. Strike for Pinella on the right-hand pair, and Berggren now. Got a strike for Berggren. Now Johnson, spare on that 10-pin. Gives him 55 through 4 with a spare up in the 5th for Johnson for Sweden on the right-hand pair. Blaine Fletcher for Australia up now on the right-hand pair. Working on 2 strikes. Make that 3 strikes for Fletcher. Left-hand pair is Ji Gun or Korea working on a strike. It's a double for Ji Gun. And Svensson for Sweden on the right-hand pair. He's working on a double. Did a carryover, a crossover, got a strike. Lindberg now on the left-hand pair. Carries a strike. Good comeback after that open frame. Johnson on the right-hand pair for Sweden, and Han Jae-yeon for Korea on the left-hand pair. Strike for Johnson. Han Jae-yeon leaves a 7-pin. Australia, Pinella working on a strike. And double. That's great after those 3 open frames, come back with a double. And Berggren working on a strike on the left-hand pair right now in the 6th frame. Solid 9-pin. Han Jae-yeon lining up for the 7-pin on the left-hand pair, and Svensson working on 3 strikes with that fortuitous Brooklyn the last time. Now he's got 4. And Berggren lining up for that 9-pin on the left-hand pair. And makes that. Blaine Fletcher for Australia on the right-hand pair, working on 3 strikes. It's 4 strikes for Fletcher. Lindberg on the left-hand pair for Sweden is working on a strike. And make that a double for him. Strike for Johnson. That makes him a double. Comes back. Australia had a slight lead. Pinella's now out. Ji Gun leaves a 6-pin on the left-hand lane. Good shot by Pinella, leaves a solid 10-pin on the right-hand pair, and left-hand pair now is Berggren working on a spare. He's got a strike. Zigan with a spare. Swenson here on the right-hand pair, working on 4 strikes in a row in the 7th frame. And 5 strikes in a row for Swenson. Han Jae-young on the left-hand pair for Korea steps up. He's working on a spare. 97 through 5 and a spare in the 6th. Strike. Both matches are extremely tight. Blaine Fletcher now for Australia coming up, working on 4 strikes on the right-hand lane, right-hand pair, and Lindberg on the left-hand pair at 95 in the 5th, 2 strikes up, looking for that 3rd strike. And he gets it in the 8th frame. Fletcher throws his 5th to match Swenson. Both of those players on opposing teams, both the anchor players, at the last 5 strikes in a row. G-Gun, 158 through 7, strike up in the 8th. Bergeron now, 129 through 6, strike up in the 7th, up in the 8th frame. And Johnson working on a double for Sweden in the right-hand pair. Another 9-pin by Bergeron. Johnson, 3 strikes in a row for Johnson. Han Jae-young coming up for Korea on the left-hand pair. He's working on a strike. And the 10-pin. Both matches are extremely tight. Jaden Pinella for Australia on the right-hand pair. Tomahawks that 10-pin out. And Bergeron easily covers his 9-pin. Once again, here we are at historic Thunderbolt Lanes in suburban Detroit, the 2018 World Bowling Youth Championships. This is the boys' semifinal matches. Both matches very tight. Han Jae-young covers that 10-pin. William Swenson for Sweden in the right-hand pair, up 5 in a row. Make it 6 in a row. Lindberg coming up on the left-hand lane, left-hand pair for Sweden. He's got 3 strikes in a row. Now he's got 4 in the 9th frame. Blaine Fletcher working on 5 strikes for Australia. Goes high, leaves the 6-7-10 split on the right-hand pair. G-Gun, 158 through 7, strike up in the 8th. Big shot in the 9th right here for him. Comes high, leaves a 6-pin. Hey, Fletcher covers 2. About all he could do at that point. On the right-hand pair in that match, Sweden's got a little bit of a lead now. The left-hand pair, Berggren up for Sweden. He gets his strike in the 9th. And Sweden got a small lead in the left-hand match also. Oh, Johnson goes a little wide, leaves the 2-8-10 for Sweden in the right-hand pair. Gigun covers that 6-pin on the left-hand pair. Double for Piniella, 8th and 9th. Han Jae-yeon for Korea, working on a spare into the 9th frame. 137 through 7, spare in the 8th. This is his 9th frame shot. Trips to 4. And Johnson gets 2. Lindberg now up in a 10th frame for Sweden in the left-hand pair. Max score is 245. Working on 4 strikes. And gets his 5th. Blaine Fletcher, 185 through 8 with an open. He throws that strike. Big shot right there. Come back from that split that he had in the 8th frame. Gigun in the 10th frame now has a max score of 228. Carries the first strike. Lindberg working on 5. Max score of 245 in his left-hand pair. Hey, William Svensson got 6 in a row. If you remember right, back in the 5th frame, carried over for a Brooklyn, the big turning point in the match. 7 in a row for Svensson. Gigun got the second one in the 10th. Lindberg now in his last shot of the game. He's already got 2 strikes in the 10th. Goes high, gets 8. It's 243 for Lindberg. And Johnson on the right-hand pair goes wide, leaves the 2-4-10. Gigun can strike here on his fill ball for 228. Strike for Piniella. 227 for Gigun. So on the left-hand match, Sweden has a 28-pin lead. Going to the last 2 players. Berggren leaves a 4-pin. Johnson, 169 for Johnson. For Sweden in the right-hand pair. Han Jae-young throws a strike. His max score is 217. Pinella goes high with a 6-pin count. Now his max score is 189. Hey, Sweden in the left-hand pair wins the match. Berggren needs 3 pins to win the match. Pinella gets 9. Pinella 188. So in the right-hand pair, .208 for Berggren, 451 for Sweden, 216 for Han Jae-young, 443 for Korea. Left-hand pair, the Sweden team. Sweden team will go into the gold medal match. The right-hand pair gotten real interesting. Svensson pulled it, left a 3-pin, leaves the door open for Fletcher to take control of the match. No, Fletcher throws a strike. His max score is 245. That strike virtually did it for Australia, put them into the gold medal match. So Svensson lining up for the 3-pin. Covers it easily. And that's enough for Australia into the gold medal match. William Svensson throws a strike, finishes out 247. The Swedish team shoots 416 with a cover here by Fletcher. The Australia team will have 422. So Australia wins the match, 422 to 416 to get into the gold medal match. The gold medal match will be Sweden against Australia up next.
Sweden defeats Korea. Korea is a bronze medalist. Sweden will go for the gold. On lane 75 and 6, Australia defeats Sweden. Sweden is a bronze medalist. Australia will go for the gold. Coaches, you repeat the same scenario. 5 minutes, 2.5 minutes in, you have to choose which side you want to start. Okay. We get some names up here where you get this thing going. Trying to avoid the delays, so when the athletes are under, we actually have people in the building.
Oh, 5 minutes of warm up.
Hey, welcome to the 2018 World Bowling Youth Championships, the boys doubles gold medal match. Our two competitors today, Sweden and Australia. Now, how did they get here? The Sweden team beat Korea 451 to 443 in the semifinals. Robert Lindberg shot 243, Alfred Berggren 208 for that 451. Korea had Ji Gun, shot 227, and Han Jae-young shot 216 for 443. Australia, Jaden Pinella shot 188, Blaine Fletcher 234 for 422, and Emmanuel Johnson and William Svensson for the other Sweden team. Johnson 169, Svensson 247 for a 416. The Australia team was the second qualifier coming out of the qualifying, and the Sweden team of Lindberg and Berggren that we'll be seeing here shortly was the fourth qualifier, the last qualifier to make the match play. So they're just finishing up their practice, and CEO of World Bowling, Kevin Dornberger, will give us the lineups. For this gold medal match in the boys doubles.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the gold medal match in the men's doubles competition. Starting on lane 73 will be Sweden 1, Robert Lindberg and Alfred Berggren. On lane 74, we have Australia, James Pinella and Blaine Fletcher. For the gold. So, gentlemen, you may start your competition.
Okay, the match is set. Sweden and Australia for the gold of the boys doubles in the 2018 World Bowling Youth Championships. Sweden starting on the left with Robert Lindberg. There's a strike. Australia starting on the right. Leading off is Jaden Pinella. Pinella throws an impressive strike. Now up for Sweden. On the left-hand lane is Alfred Berggren. Berggren shot 208 in the semifinal in their win over Korea. Strike for Berggren. Blaine Fletcher for Australia. Fletcher shot 234 in the semifinal match in the win over the other Sweden team. Like he stuck a little bit, pulled it high, left the 610. Fletcher did. And easily covered by Fletcher. Robert Lindberg working on a strike in the second frame for Sweden. The wide came back with great action, though, for a double for Lindbergh. Pinella now up for Australia on the left-hand lane. And a double for Pinella. Alfred Berggren on the right-hand lane for Sweden, also working on a strike. Double for both players from Sweden. Blaine Fletcher now working on a spare. Needs a strike to keep his team within 10 pins. And does. Now Lindbergh now up on the left-hand lane. 3 of the 4 players start out with 2 strikes. Fletcher the only one that didn't. Fletcher's spare strike. Lindbergh now has 3. Pinella up on the right-hand lane. Sends it out wide, leaves the 2-10. We've seen that combination 2-4-10, 2-10, 2-4-8-10 many times in this competition. Berggren now up on the left-hand lane. Working on 2. All right, left a 7 pin. Pinella gets 1. Gives him 56 through 3 frames. Berggren now lines up for the 7 pin. That popped out of the gutter, therefore score correction's got to be made. Berggren 57 through 3. Fletcher now on the right-hand lane working on a strike for Australia. And gets a strike. Match is still extremely close. 11 pins separating the 2 teams, with Sweden holding an 11-pin edge through 3 frames. Lindbergh came in a little bit light, left a 10-pin. Pinella now for Australia up on the left-hand lane, trying to come back from that 2-10 split that he left in the 3rd frame. strike for Piniella. Lindberg covers the 10 for Sweden. Blaine Fletcher now up on the left-hand lane for Australia, working on 2. Way wide, left the 1-2-4. Alfred Berggren, after missing that 7-pin in the last frame, hopes to redeem himself right here on the right-hand lane. Wide at 2-8-10 once again pops up. And a spare by Fletcher. Berggren covers 2. Lindberg for Sweden up on the left-hand lane. Throws a strike. Piniella working on a strike on the right-hand lane. This really close match we got going right here. Gold medal match in the boys finals. World Bowling Youth Championship boys doubles. And Piniella throws a double. Berggren for Sweden up on the left-hand lane. Trips the 4. Blaine Fletcher on the right-hand lane in the 5th frame. Six pins. Leave the 2, 4, 5, 8. Australia holds a slim 3-pin lead at this point. Recovered by Fletcher. Lindberg on the right-hand lane. A double for Lindberg. Piniella now on the left-hand lane for Australia, working on a double in the 6th frame. Looks like 3. Alfred Berggren, Sweden, on the right-hand lane, working on a strike. And carries it. Both Sweden players are working on doubles. Fletcher now up, working on a spare. As you recall, last frame he left that 2-4-5-8 and easily covered it. Here he is in the 6th frame. And a big strike there. Sweden now has a lead. This match has gone back and forth. Hey, Lindberg now 3 in a row. And Piniella working on 3, looking for his 4th. There's that 210 combination again. And Berggren now up on the left-hand lane. His teammates already got a triple. And he's going for a triple. And he's got it. Both players with a triple. So Sweden extends their lead in this gold medal match of the boys doubles in the 2018 World Bowling Youth Championships. I won. So Piniella 142 through 7. Fletcher working on a strike now. Fletcher up on the right-hand lane for Australia. Wide. The 1, 2, 6, 8, 10 washout. On a strike, so the pin count didn't hurt him. Now he just got to make the spare. Gets 2. So Piniella's 142 through 7. Fletcher 127 through 7. The Sweden team has a commanding lead at this point. Both players working on triples. Lindberg up on the right-hand lane for Sweden. Solid 10-pin. A good shot. Now Piniella up on the left-hand lane. It's critical for Australia now to throw nothing but strikes. There's one. Piniella's max score is 232. Fletcher's max score is 217. Good cover by Lindberg. Lindberg is going at a 238 pace. Fletcher now up in the left-hand lane for Australia. Berggren on the right-hand lane, working on 3. Come back really well after those couple open frames in the 3rd and 4th. Big strike by Berggren. Berggren has a max score of 246. Going to the 9th frame, the foundation frame. Lindberg for Sweden up on the left-hand lane, working on a spare. 178 through 7, spare up in the 8th. Big strike by Lindberg. Piniella on the right-hand lane. It's critical that the Australian players throw strikes. Leaves a 7-10 in the pocket. That could be the dagger for Australia. Sweden has a commanding lead. Berggren now up, working on 4 strikes. Five strikes for Berggren. Max score for Lindberg, 258. Max score for Berggren, 246. Piniella, max score for him, 200. Fletcher, his max score is 217. This match is virtually over. Fletcher on the right-hand lane for Australia. Once again, going to the 10th, Sweden, Lindberg, max score 258. Berggren, max score 246. Piniella, max score 200. And Fletcher, max score 217. Big strike by Lindberg. Piniella now up in the 10th frame, just finishing out. Leaves a 9-pin. Big shot by Lindberg. He's been doing it the whole game now. Spare by Piniella. Lindberg, 210 there, makes no difference at 255. 255 for Lindberg. Penella finishes out 190. 190 for Penella of Australia. Teams are congratulating each other. Just got to finish the match now. But the results are gold medal Sweden, silver for Australia. Just a matter of what the final score turns out to be. All right, Berggren. Now his max score is 225. Blaine Fletcher still his max score is 217. Nine pin for Fletcher also. And Fletcher covers. Fletcher will be in the 190s. Berggren throwing the last ball here. 224. 479 for Sweden. A dominating performance in this gold medal match over Australia. Kind of went back and forth early, and then Sweden just kind of went away with it. So 193 for Fletcher, 383 for Australia, but the top score, Sweden, 479 in this gold medal match. Sweden the gold, Australia the silver in the men's doubles 2018 World Youth Championships.
Gold medal in men's doubles is Sweden. Silver medal is for Australia. The men's medal ceremony will happen as soon as we get the podium set up and the athletes lined up. Men's first. So men, don't go anywhere, please.
Trust me, I get it. I totally get it.
I saw it two years ago in Winnipeg. You were the only one practicing, right, Grace? Yes. I said, this guy will be on the podium one day. It's sad that someone has to do it.
It is what it is. It is what it is. He said to us to take it. Yeah.
Well done, guys.
How good.
DJ Bless. Actually, we'll ask the boys. Ryan, where do you want to go to dinner, mate? Ryan and Jane, your choice.
We just want to go to bed. Jimmy John's pretty good as well.
My favorite kind of shot.
Oh yeah.
Pardon? You let me know, I'll put it where you want.
You cannot play one more, Lord. This is the last one for you.
Not bad.
Oh, you go there.
I don't want to say it too early.
No, it's not even that. It's every page. You always do the same. You always do it. I get Make a noise so it's all loud.
See you in Hong Kong, right?
I need to go wash my hands, man.
You're relevant. Get away. Your live stream. Hey guys.
Yeah.
Sweden supporters, what's going on? Really? What's going on? Noise is better. Noise is better. Congratulations. Comes up with us so
bowlers for the boys doubles and your team managers to please come to lanes 91 and 92.
Bobby, that's it. Just Bobby. tell you to walk down the line. No, it's just him. It's just for the walk down. It's just for the walk down.
Have the ball. It's been a long day.
Jaden.
It's medal time
Australia
again.
and Korea.
There's not much to say.
Go get your medal.
Go get your medal night.
Yeah, they walk in. Maybe you should leave so the camera can film. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like.
George Brzezinski, please report to the high end.
Somebody prepared. You don't want it to rain.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the medal winners for the boys doubles event. It is our honor to request Mr. Ulf Hoendum, Vice President of World Bowling, to present the medals, and Mr. Mike Calloway, Marketing Director of Thunderbolt Lanes, to present the souvenirs. Bronze medal, Ji Gi-yeon and Han Jae-hyun from Korea. Bronze medal, Emmanuel Jonsson and William Svensson from Sweden. Silver medal, Jaden Panelia and Blaine Fletcher from Australia. And the champion and gold medal winners of the 2018 World Bowling Youth Championships for boys doubles, Robert Lindberg and Alfred Bergen from Sweden. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Sweden. Congratulations to all the winners.
야, 니 앞에 나와. 볼수가 너무 안 보여. 그래. Let's go, bro.
Girls doubles medalist, together with your team manager, please come to lanes 91 and 92.
One more Faraday. I got one. Diana, I got one. I'll give it to you.
No. Yeah, get it up in there.
Congratulations, thank
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the medal winners for the girls doubles event. It is our honor to request Mr. Kevin Dornberger, the CEO of World Bowling, to present the medals, and Mr. George Brzezinski, Vice President of the Metro Detroit USBC, to present the souvenirs. Bronze medal, Alika Molander and Kaisa Wegner from Sweden. Bronze medal, Dakota Fakeme and Michaela Mitchell from Canada. Silver medal, Taylor Bailey and Brianna Clemmer from USA. and the champion and gold medal winners of the girls doubles of the 2018 World Youth Bowling Championships, Paula Limon and Raquel Orozco from Mexico.
First time I'll be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Mexico. Congratulations to all the winners.
Danny. Oh, Victor.